It's not going yet.
Do it again. Slurp your fucking beer.
Oh, you wanna do it again?
Yeah, you sloppy bitch. Slurp your. Oh yeah, that's just how you drink. You're not even trying to overdo it. That's just how you drink. Welcome to a brand new episode of Drag the Lake. I am.
You always go first.
Because I'm the host.
And this is the Grateful Dead Andy. He's dead. And he likes
Which way you pointing? Which way you pointing?
That's what I said.
Yeah, you fucking retard.
What'd you say?
I called you a retard.
Wrong way.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Drag the Lake. I'm your host, Andy Malfrey, and with me as always, the stupid fucking idiot, Pat George.
Love that intro. Way better than my normal one. I gotta tell you, I'd love to be called a stupid fucking idiot than the Grateful Dead ever. So take that, you fucking bear lovers. Hey,
have you been not liking your name?
No, I love my name.
Yeah, but you said it was so much stank and sass.
I don't like the Grateful Dead at all. So, but I know you don't mean it like that, but people always assume that I'm a fucking hippie and I hate it. I don't like Grateful Dead. I don't fucking like Fish. I don't fucking jam so much. I like jamming, but I don't want people to listen or watch it. Fuck. I hate those.
You do have that. That's
things.
actually a funny thing because I'm not self-aware of my aura at all. Yeah. I think you're displaying more self-awareness of your aura, and you do give that off.
Yeah.
You do seem like a guy who would be at a fucking Dead concert.
Yeah. I do hallucinogens, but I do them in my bedroom. I watch Pulp Fiction, and it freaks me out, and I go hide under the sheets, just like anybody else. I don't go fucking play with people in the fucking crowd. I don't want a bunch of hippies touching my stuff. So I like, for me, I grew up, I was very traumatized in Florida. There's tons of hippies. And you know what hippies are, Andy? They're
fake. It's a fake psyop from the CIA.
No, they're homeless people, Andy. They're just homeless fucking mooches. And they smell a little bit better than homeless people. So people go like, hey man, they're a free spirit, but they're just fucking mooches. And I don't like hippies. But a lot of times people don't understand tie-dye patterns. I've said it so many times. Hide stains. That's why I have tie-dyed clothing. I like pretty colors, and it also hides stains very well. That's why I buy tie-dye. Most of the stuff people are like, hey man, you like the Dead? Never. One of my favorite songs from NoFX is August 8th, and it's about the day Jerry Garcia died. And it's saying August 8th is a beautiful day. You look around, you see a bunch of hippies crying. August 8th is a beautiful day.
I remember my first introduction to the Grateful Dead. I was arguing with a kid in like 9th or 10th grade. I had no idea who the Grateful Dead were. And this kid was like talking shit. I think he like made a gay joke or something at me. And I was just like, he had a Grateful Dead shirt on. And I was like, oh. He like made this joke at me, call me gay. And I was like, I go, you're the fucking one with gay ass Care Bears on your shirt. And he was just like, it's the Grateful Dead though. And I was like,
guys are cool.
But the funny part is like, I didn't even know it was the Grateful Dead. I was like, dude, you literally got fucking Care Bears on your shirt. Don't talk to me.
But if a hippie band is going to have a bear on their shirt, that's a Care Bear. That's a little fucking, it's to me, it's just one of those things that like, I'm sure there's lots of history and they're wonderful and all this other shit. Everything I've heard by them is dog shit. And I also don't love their fans. So it's almost the reverse of like ICP, or what was the other band that I turned around on recently?
I know a guy you turned around on.
Take it easy.
Fucking gay boy, you're gay.
It was god damn it. I almost had
that guy's penis.
Was it damn it. I feel like we just talked about this. I gotta look at my notes. But it was either way, like it's the same way I feel like I turned around on like other bands or anything like that. But like with them, I'm like, no, I don't like your fans. It's not like your fans kind of ruined it for me.
Are you sure?
What?
It feels like it's the fans.
No, I don't like like I said, even when you just listen to the music, you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
But like, okay, without, because here's my thing about the Grateful Dead. When you hear, anytime I've heard like a hardcore fan tell me how great the band is,
yeah,
I'm like, it like, you know, it's always just, I'm always just like, this is like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it exactly without sounding like the most pretentious, but this is a music podcast, so that's our job, to be pretentious.
Exactly. Go with it.
But it's always like there's certain bands that people who like really know how to play instruments and are like really deep into music, they don't listen to every time I've met a dude who's like really into the Grateful Dead, it always seems way more about like the drugs and the party, which is fine, and I know we've talked about fucking people are gonna think we're shitting on Del Calo because we talked about him recently with the fucking Grateful Dead episode, but it's like, dude, if you like to if because I've said this before, a bunch of my friends are really into country music. And every time they go to a country show and they post pictures of themselves at a country show, I go, that just looks fun. And, I know. We all know your opinion on countries. Just fucking wait.
Sorry.
Just fucking quick. Tell us something you've said 1,000 times already. I'm trying to rile you up.
Now you're getting mad.
Yeah. Am I what?
I said, now you're getting mad. I'm not getting mad.
I'm getting you there. You're mad. I'm not mad. You're mad.
Yeah.
But what are you doing?
Huh? I'm looking through my notes, but I don't have anything here.
Why do you have notes?
It's usually for a reference, dickhole.
Wait, do you just have handwritten notes of every thought you've had on the pod?
No. Well, like if I have a thought where like if I made a connection between the fact that there's a band that the fans ruined the band for me. It's not necessarily that I hate the band. I don't Tool. It was Tool. That's what it was. Thank God I thought of it. Yeah, fuckhole. I thought the way that I hate it. Like when I found out that Tool hated their fans as much as I do, I was like, oh, that's awesome. That makes me happy. Like when ICP, I still don't like Tool's music, but I never hated them for their music. It was always their fans. So the same thing with ICP. I don't hate ICP. I don't like their music necessarily, but I don't hate them. I hate their fans.
That always happened with me and like Rick and Morty's the current TV show like that.
Yeah,
all their fans are so fucking annoying.
Yeah,
but the show is great. It's like I get why they're so annoying and obsessive about it. But the thing I was gonna say about country music before you made it about you.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I know I haven't mentioned this before. I don't love country, even though I come from the South. I mean, give me some Dwight Yoakam, sure, but country nowadays, Andy, not a fan.
Thanks, buddy. We didn't know that. Yeah. No, I see. I don't give a fuck about country music, but if you give me a bunch of got my ass. Ooh, the tables have turned, and now it's my cheeks getting clapped. Fuck.
Hey, we're out here. We share. We're equal opportunity offenders, brother. All right,
but no, you see the pictures. Like I would see my friends post the pictures from the. Stop that right now. Never hated you more.
I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not going to speak.
I hate you so much. But no, it's like you see the pictures from like the country shows, and like I don't like the music, but I thought that would have gotten you more.
Go on. Go on, Andy. You don't like the music? What else?
But no, you see all the pictures and you see everyone's holding like a beer and they're having a good time and it looks like a tailgate.
Yeah.
And
it's a party.
If I'm at an open space, like a wide open tailgate, I don't give a fuck what music's playing. So like if you're going for the vibes, go for the vibes. I am not knocking anyone who's trying to go to a fun show for the vibes. Like I would do that. Like I don't like country music, but I would go for the vibes.
Yeah.
And but it's that next step and maybe I haven't listened to enough Grateful Dead. And I will say this: when I was doing shows with Robbie, he would throw on some jam bands. And I will say, when you throw on, he did put on some live jam bands. And Patrick, please.
I can't control this. That's a physical reaction when you said live jam. I come from the fucking state of drum circles on the beach, and it is the worst. It is the worst.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's
I
not
know.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a state, and also you can control this. Don't be like a fucking. Don't be a chick buying some.
Turn the camera up. I'll take
Nah, you're saying coffee mug shit. I can't control this.
I'm not myself until I have my first cup of coffee. That's why I got that cup. It's
Yeah,
not
don't-
just saying for me.
Nah,
It's my
don't-
life.
Don't act like a live, laugh, love sign in a fucking white lady's kitchen.
Hey.
You can.
I only like to party on the days that end with Y, Andy. Okay.
Hey, that's fair. That's just good. That's just good living in my book, partner.
Okay, Andy.
Hey, come on, Pat, chill. Pat, do us all a favor, calm the hell down.
I'll put it back. Calm down now, sweetheart. All right, Buttercup.
No, I would, and you know me, not a big jam band guy,
Right.
but long drives. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. Nuh-uh.
You're having too much fun.
Long drives.
Yeah.
You're cruising. You know, big open fields. You hit the right concert. It's not a bad time.
I got
It's
you.
good driving music. It's good driving music.
There's something about I used to listen to 93.3 FLZ when I used to go to bed. I still remember that it was the top 40 station in my area, but after I think after 10 or after 9 or 10 p.m. they turned it on the weekends. They turned it into where they would just play the feed from a DJ performing at a local club or something like that, and it was just booty music, fucking dance music, just all this shit. And I swear to God, that is what I used to go to bed to. It's fucking 69 Boys and fucking all that shit. I would it, but it would soothe me. I like the. It would I'd put it under my pillow. It was almost like that was my little heartbeat monitor.
Oh, dude, I just picture you laying on your tummy. I just picture you laying in bed on your tummy, and you just see where your little kid butt is, and you just see it's just you.
I fucking love the beat.
It's just you subconsciously jamming. Dude, I gotta be honest, a lot of that Spanish music is underappreciated by the masses. Now, I'll be straight up. You in your reggaeton, unless I'm at a street fair and you give me a big thing of corn covered in some fucking Parmesan and some hot sauce or whatever the fuck, maybe I'll listen to your reggaeton.
Yeah.
But I'll always respect and call it
pronunciation as well.
Yeah, I'll always respect and call it reggaeton.
Or reggaeton.
You know, if I see a giant ass or something, I'll listen to some reggaeton. But I gotta be honest, most scenarios, you guys can miss me with that. Give me a little I don't know what half the genres are called, because it's if you play the drums slightly, now you've made a new genre. Or if this isn't with guitar, you have to have a fucking special type of mandolin. Now you've had a new genre.
Oh, now you made it religious.
The one that's really fast and it's just
try not to.
Yeah. And you hear that little scrapey thing, it's
or the shaker, when they get that shaker going, yeah.
And you do that dance where you're just running back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm very good at this.
Dude, we were made to be Spanish. We should be Spanish.
God, we should be Spanish. That actually was the article I forgot to read on No More Heroes, which we are going to do eventually. But it was basically this lady being like, why are all these white people not letting me be a loud Puerto Rican? So funny, dude. The title of the article is Why Do Rich People Love Quiet? And it's complaint. But that's No More Heroes. That's No More Heroes.
That's not here.
It was just, I got to the, dude, I'm so excited. I'm mad I forgot to bring it up. But I'm so excited to talk about it, because at the end, she keeps going on about how she's in these white spaces and they're all telling her she's too loud. And then 2/3 of the article, she reveals that she's Puerto Rican. I'm just dude, you're just being loud and Puerto Rican everywhere and you're just upsetting white people. It's so funny.
Oh, were you in a park? Yeah, obviously. I mean,
well, there was the one part. I'm giving too much away. We'll do it on No More Heroes. It's so fucking funny. But we had a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We had an interesting topic in the news, but there is one thing I want to start off big. Let's start off with a fun one. there's one thing I just want to start off with, which just like I don't even know how to properly approach this topic, but like sometimes you just see things and you have so many questions, and I gotta be honest, I don't know if I want half those questions answered.
Okay.
But this was going around on Twitter recently. Probably in my mind the craziest back patch anyone could have. But yeah.
This reminds me of high school. So it's not, I don't even know if is that a back patch or is that like printed on? Oh no, it is. Okay, I see it.
Boy, I gotta ask you, Pat. Do you know this? Let me put it in the easiest way possible.
I don't know the context. No.
Do you know why Lost Prophets broke up?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No. What happened?
Oh, they found out the lead singer was a hardcore pedo.
Whoa!
That tried to
you like child corn?
What?
You like child corn?
Yeah, and he tried to hard R, not ER, RAP. He tried to hard R babies.
He tried to rap babies?
Yeah, he tried to write raps about babies, and he was like, dude, we're in a shitty emo band. Stop rapping.
Singer of the Lost Prophets, and I'm here to no, I'm
here to tear up a baby. But dude, yeah, the dude's a pedophile. Like that's why they had to break up. And he like
So, but also, is Lost Prophets a back patch band?
That's what you're more worried about?
Yes. Because I always thought, I was like, isn't that like a weird like radio band or something? But I did not know the pedo story. That feels like that might be
that's the funniest. I kind of explained that I showed that to Steph, and she didn't know the fucking story, so I explained it to her too. Where and I go, that's the funniest part. I go, what?
Was this like what's his face? The guy Townsend from the Who, where he was just doing research?
No. So imagine if he was doing the stuff in the videos that Pete Townsend was researching.
Oh, he was a star. He was a Lost Prophet, but he was a child corn star.
He could have been a corn performer in Townsend's research.
He's like, oh mate, I finally found him. It's the mate from Lost Prophets.
That's how they got
videos.
That's how they got signed.
Yeah.
Townsend was like, oh, he knows his way around a little bugger.
Yeah. Oh, I like his work. This guy,
he saw him come in one of the videos, and he was like, look at the vocal cords on that bloke.
Oh, this guy can blow.
You know, maybe you put down the kid and you pick up a microphone. You do.
I wonder, by the way, the Lost Prophets. This reminded me at first because of the fact that I feel like Lost Prophets. I feel like a back patch is reserved for only the heaviest or the hardest core. Let's just say, right?
I mean, Pat, he's pretty hardcore.
If we can prove that she put this patch on after the charges stuck, she can keep
post charges backpack is next.
She went hardcore. Like that's like that's a hardcore motherfucker, right?
Pat, post charges backpack is so hardcore.
Yeah, that's hardcore. But
that's hardcore.
But this reminds me of when I was in high school, and I remember this kid came in and he had this I think it was Everclear. It was an Everclear hoodie or shirt or something like that, and it said "punk as fuck," and I said, "What the fuck is that?" and I said, I would I could give you 100 fucking words of how I would describe Everclear, and I don't think punk would end up at fucking number 500. So like, what? And then as fuck, I said, sir, have you listened to the Casualties? I don't know about what you consider punk as fuck, but just because you did heroin, you're more Red Hot Chili Pepper than you are punk as fuck. You know, you're funk.
That is the funny part. ultimately the funniest part about the Lost Prophets.
That's how I viewed it.
Yeah, no, that's the part you care more about. I get it. But that's
Andy. I will go on the record by saying the thing that offends me most about this is the fact that I don't think the band plays heavy enough music for it to warrant a back patch. And I will go to court. I will die on this hill, Andy. That's the most egregious thing in this picture.
Hey, man, I'd rather you tell the truth than, give me a tasty little lie.
Exactly.
I'd rather a truthful shit burger than a delicious burger full of lies.
Exactly. I don't want an impossible burger. I want a burger. And even if you burn it a little.
Yeah, get some char on that. But no, it is twofold hilarious because I gotta be honest, I was thinking about it where what the fuck was it? So there's this book that's very controversial. I was watching some video on it where some dude was giving his like top 5 books. I think it was either books you need to read or controversial books. But there's this book, I think it's called Lolita.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by Vladimir Nabokov. Yeah, and it was I'll read the Wikipedia synopsis. Just a heads up, this relates to the Lost Prophets lead singer. But yeah, it said Lolita is a 1955 novel written by Russian-American novelist Vladimir Nabokov that addresses the controversial subject of hebephilia. And yeah, the protagonist is a French literature professor who moves to England and writes under the pseudonym Humbert. He describes what? Say it again.
I said, way to lay low, stupid. What's your name? Humbert.
You might as well have named yourself Fuck Kids.
Yeah, you're a red flag McGillicuddy, you fucking dickhead.
Shout out Firewild in the chat. He describes his obsession with a 12-year-old nymphette, Dolores Hayes, who he kidnaps and sexually abuses after becoming her stepfather. And then, yada, yada, yada. He does a bunch of other gross stuff. But I bring that up because I saw this thing where I randomly saw this TikTok where, yeah, like I said, I think a dude was like suggesting books or he was talking about controversial books. And he was talking about how like, art is a way to, experiment mentally in other spaces and kind of put yourself there and try to understand what it, and I just go like, I don't know, man. Cause I'm a real, like, separate the art from the artist guy.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest though. I'm starting to really think my line is kids. Like,
yeah.
Hey, do what you want. Wear an R. Kelly shirt to a show. Wear fucking like I have a friend who wears a Charles Manson shirt because he thinks it's cool and it's kind of weird, but whatever, man. Wear the Charles Manson shirt.
Not to mention, he didn't even actually kill anybody. So even if you idolize him, you're a fucking pussy.
And he has a swastika on his head, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That's what yeah. Hey, Wild, I want to see you there. Hey, how's it going?
But I don't know. Like I view myself as a first free speech purist, First Amendment purist and shit like that. But I gotta be honest, like for me, I gotta go like, yeah, maybe you don't wear the Lost Prophet shirt because that's actually insane. And bringing it back to that book Lolita, where I'm just like, yeah, I don't need to write that book. Also, who wrote that? Maybe we go find that guy who wrote that book and just, show him my favorite hammer.
Yeah. Like Vladimir Skishmash, whatever.
Yeah, because it's always like, I always like when people try to defend that, I just go like, dude, I think you're a pedo. Because you're like, I don't need to. It's like people always joke like, how you know you're not gay? You haven't fucked a guy. And you're like, I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's if I think about it, it feels yucky.
Yeah, I don't like the thought of it. It's like I'm not, and that was the thing I always resented about like the phobia part of it. When you say homophobia, it's like maybe you're homophobic. Like, no, I'm not scared. I don't want it.
I don't want it, dude.
I'm not scared. What would you say?
It is funny though when you take a really big shit, and that feels great.
Right, when it's going out.
But then, you ever have that moment where you're like,
"Let me put that bitch in."
Out feels pretty good. In can't be terrible.
But even still, it's one of those things of like a sensation of like if there's a pegging about to be had, it's gonna be from my wife. It's not gonna be from some other dude. I'm not letting any other dude in my room to put anything in anything. All right, I'm the dude in the room that puts stuff in there. Now, if there's ladies in the room that wants to put stuff in that's their choice. But me, no sir.
But yeah,
Straight as an arrow. Two fingers.
I'll dance on the edge a little bit.
Little finger.
But yeah, it is. I realized that's my, because I do think freedom of speech is very important, but I think everyone has their own personal line. And I do think mine is, it's like the dude writing the Hebephile book or like wearing the Lost Prophets patch. I go, I don't think we do that, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not I don't know. Like but still, so what about like if somebody wore a Chris Benoit shirt?
Yeah, it's sick. It's funny.
He killed a kid.
Well,
his kid.
He was his kid.
It was his cum.
He did a bunch of headbutts. It wasn't him. He wasn't in the right state of mind.
You think if you're a bigger fan of Lost Prophets, you would give a little bit more leeway?
Nah, that's a big one for me, and I'm not even saying that. It's easy.
I'm saying this really. Like, has there been a band that you are?
Are you saying if the lead singer of Lost Prophets killed Chris Benoit's kid?
No, that would be acceptable.
I'd be fine.
Not
with
his wife, though. Not his wife. Not a man's wife. You can't kill another man's wife.
But, kill man's son. You can't kill a man's wife.
You can't kill another man's wife. But if there is is there a band that you were a really big fan of? Like everybody brings up R. Kelly, everybody brings Michael Jackson. I was not a really big fan of them. I like their songs, but it's not necessarily like. But there hasn't necessarily been a band that I liked that got caught up.
The closest I get is Brand New, because like,
oh yeah,
I'll listen to Brand New. But I'll get like 2 songs in, and then I'll be like, and then I usually switch over after about, like, I'll randomly be like, I want to listen to 17 times 7 again. And then I'll get like,
you want underage, you want 17. You've been listening to all that Brand New. You're like, I think it's 16-year-old.
No, but you multiply it and think about it in dog years, and it's okay.
See, there you go.
That's what the times 7 is, him doing dog years, man.
Ah, now I understand it.
But yeah, no, I there are certain like I do think the general rule should be separate the artist from the band, with obviously, Lost Prophets being the exception.
Yeah.
Or Vladimir for fucking kid fucker, whatever that guy was, No, because for me, I just go like, that's like the line for me. There's no wiggle room on that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you do that to a kid, like there's no wiggle room. We're all gonna fucking find you and let you know how we feel. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of how I feel about that. So that's probably my personal line. But yeah. But no, I don't think, is there a band for you? I can't think of a band for me that like after they did the thing, I go, oh my God, I can't listen to them ever again.
I really don't think that there was a band that there was any like of that kind of controversy. I would say maybe the closest would be probably As I Lay Dying with Tim Lambesis, when he ended up getting arrested for trying to kill his wife.
You were upset that he didn't follow through.
Yeah, I was just like, that would have fucking made a great album.
Yeah. Like, As I Lay Dying, except for your wife, pussy.
Hey, yeah, she was left standing when you went fucking right to jail, pussy. Actually, I think like out right now, but don't kill me or have
more like As She Stays Living. You fucking.
There it is. You found it. As She Stays Living. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the fucking clip.
But I think that was the closest thing to like of like this. Oh, really? That sucks. Really? This guy? Like it was a very surprising thing to find out that person in a band that I really liked, especially the lead singer, did something that crazy. You know what I'm saying?
The closest, well, I don't know if this 100% counts, but I was watching Dark Side of the 2000s.
Oh, I forgot to fuck. Where is that again?
I watched it on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's on Hulu. Dude, I forget watching that show, it made me realize like dude, how good were the fucking what were they? Like remember like the I Love the 70s shows?
Yeah.
Just those shows,
the talking head shows.
Yeah, talking head shows, they're like half hour to 45 minutes. You don't have to have this large intellectual investment in it. You can just kind of passively watch it. And I was like, because I was watching those Dark Side of the 2000s. It's just like, yeah, dude, we'll just do a quick 40 minutes about fucking John and Kate plus 8. It's not going to get super deep or heavy. But yeah, they did 2 episodes about O&A. And I remember, yeah, that was a big breakup that hit me hard because I was a huge O&A fan when Anthony decided to scream certain type of words at black ladies in Times Square and then call them animals.
That may or may not have been justified, Andy. We don't know yet.
Well, yeah. Well, dude, it's so funny being older and just having clearer eyes, and you're like, oh, yeah, he definitely called her the N-word.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah. Dude, I was such an O&A fucking hardcore fan. Like when he's on Twitter tweeting, calling her and people like that animals and shit, I'm like, hey guys, he's mad. You say a lot of harsh shit when you're mad, dude. Because like my dream was like I got into comedy partially because I was like I fucking love Opie and Anthony, and now Opie and Anthony broke up. I was like, you guys stole my dream. You stole that.
You took my goal. You took my goal away.
Yeah, it fucking bothered me. So I remember that's why I was like super delusional. And now that I'm older and not a fucking idiot, I'm like, oh yeah, he's got to calm down.
also, apparently they hated each other. So it's like another one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, this was just bound to happen in general. But yeah, I understand that.
Well, that was the crazy part about the the Dark Side of the 2000s is they were playing like O&A bits. Well, I will say this about O&A. They always leaned into being dickheads.
Yeah.
And so that's why like the joke, like they showed all these old awful bits they did. And like I was still finding myself being like, that's pretty funny. Yeah. But then they showed Howard Stern always tried to he always tries to be like a fake good guy and stuff like that. And dude, they're like showing bits where is this dude in Philly? He got the other DJ. Like, well, first off, Howard Stern would actively be like, I'm going to destroy the top guy in this market. And then he found the DJ in Philly. Basically, I forget if he kind of like helped them sort of get divorced by like, I don't know, just being obnoxious and doing certain things. But I remember after they got divorced, he like brought her on the show, like right after they got divorced, got her to like sit on. It was just doing all this just awful shit, just some insane shit you do to another man. And then this lady fucking killed herself like soon after that. And I was like, oh, that's why Howard Stern's on this like super fake fucking recovery tour that he's been on for fucking ever. Cause he was like a legitimate fucking scumbag. Yeah, he was a sack of shit.
Yeah, he wasn't just a shock jock. He was a life ruiner. Like, cause I think Bubba the Love Sponge kind of tried to do that with what's his face, Hulk Hogan and shit. Like releasing that sex tape.
Doing and then we found out Hulk Hogan ruled.
Yeah, but like any of that stuff, like it's weird. Like it gets to a point where like you're not doing it for the actual like. That's why I don't understand. Like certain people, like Ron Bennington, can survive so long in radio and rule so much as a person, but like not ever have to be like they were always silly. Ron and Fez or something like that. Yeah, always silly and shit like that. But like they weren't like.
Yeah, they never have to be nasty cunts.
Wasn't like hate filled, like hate, like that's like where it's just like. But see, that's the thing is it's the extremes. So if you love Howard Stern for the fact that he has a woman sit on a thing until she comes on a show, you have to take the thing where he like bullies the lady till she dies. You know, unfortunately, that's just the rule of it.
No, I get that.
It comes and it goes.
I get that. My whole thing with it was I was just like, dude, how is he not just so transparently unlikable? It was I think it was because people had just such limited access to entertainment. So the shock jock thing was it was more like, well, this is what we listen to. I either listen to, like, I have to listen to the radio in the morning, and I don't have a fucking iPod with 1,000 podcasts on it and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, like, even at his worst, it was more, because, like, I think they were saying fucking the majority of people who listened to Howard, they didn't even like him. They were just there to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But no, dude, it was just like some of the shit. I don't mean to sound like a fucking pussy, but some of the shit he did, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy like sucks.
Yeah.
He's like a bad dude.
Yeah. When he doubles down and shit. Yeah.
The big thing that always annoyed me is one, he was super stingy with, like, he would always be bragging about making millions of dollars. And dude, his employees that he would get him to do all this crazy shit were like making nothing, which that rubbed me the wrong way. But the other one that always also bugged me is, like, it's one thing to not pay people a lot, because that happens fucking everywhere. It's another thing when these people would finally quit because they would ask for more money. Bro, they would ask for more money. They wouldn't get it. They'd go to quit. And then Howard would just spend an entire day on the radio fucking trashing them.
Yeah.
And to use wrestling terms, like, bury them. So they would actually, it's not that he's just shitting on them. It's that he's actively trying to, like, besmirch their name so it's harder for them to be employed somewhere else. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking psychotic.
Yeah, at a certain point where he doesn't, it's like, I think that's the thing you need to avoid. And I think it happens a lot in comedy or performing or something like that, where you're treated so poorly for so long that once you're given a position of power, then you start, like, to wield that and, like, abuse that shit. Instead of being like, oh, I
think that's how it's
hated it when people treated me like this. They're like, finally, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Just another one of those motherfuckers. Like, it just sucks that, like, that somebody that you thought was so cool because he had so many ladies coming on his show, that, like, all of a sudden now you're like, oh, the guy that made the ladies get naked, that pressured the ladies to get naked on a show. Like, why? Like, it's really funny that he is so beloved, but, like, he literally pressured young girls to take their clothes off in a radio studio. Like, again, it's not like he did it, out in the middle of nowhere, but, like, tried to, like, humiliate. It's always humiliation. I've realized it's always the pranks that they do is always this thing where, like, get naked and go stand outside. You're like, why do you want this?
Well,
why do you want this so bad?
That's the part too. Yeah, it's the humiliation aspect of it always struck me as weird. Cause yeah, they show one part in the show where he, like, brings a girl on, gets her to get naked, and then spends the whole time giving her shit for having small titties.
Yeah, like, trashing them. And then,
like, what do you mean?
Dude, this nice lady just showed you her butt and her boobs and her pussy. Like, and, like, you're gonna sit here and trash her for it? Fuck off, dude. Like,
yeah.
That's to
Did
me.
You ever,
like, fuck you, dude.
How many, like, you're not like a big strip club guy, right?
Not necessarily, but that's mainly because I'm poor and because I fear women.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I have no money, and I realize the ways that place could ruin my life, so I don't go as often.
None of them, I don't think any of them necessarily want to be there. That's the unfortunate thing. I think that's what I've realized.
Oh, you gotta block that out.
I know it sucks, but it's like, it's one of those things where, like, oh, it's a party, it's fun, but it's also like, oh, I don't think you like this.
Oh, see, I just go in, I go, easy access to booze.
Also, that wasn't a whole song. You ended that.
But no, I remember
DJs. Excuse me. There's like a 2-minute solo there. What the fuck is going on here?
Do you remember? I actually, the strip club thing I was going to bring up, we were at the strip club together. It was for my bachelor party. Yeah. And do you remember there were two dudes that me and Jay knew? They were like two taller guys, like white dudes. Yeah, and I remember they were the guys that I never, well, one of them I loved hanging out with. The other one, he was just always kind of there. You know, there's like the people that, oh God, I scratched the fuck out of my forehead.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Damn.
I just did that.
Yeah, damn. Like, what's going on? Are you blading, bro? What's going on?
Yeah, we were talking about wrestling earlier. Figuring out how to blade. No, but I remember that the one dude, he was fine.
Is it like this?
Yeah. A little deeper. The one dude, he was that one dude that always fine, but like I'd never try to hang out with him, but like he'd be there sometimes, and he wasn't the worst, but he was always kind of he had that like bad aura about him. You know, there's always those people who they're not always doing fucked up shit, but they just got a bad aura about them.
Yeah.
And I remember he was just being mean to the strippers. And I remember like just too much. Like it would just keep basically, I think his thing, like I would go into the strip club just being like, oh yeah, I give them money and I get to see or touch their boobies. I think for him, it was like, oh, I give them money to be mean to them.
I give them money so I can treat them the way I want to treat them. And that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be you treat them like they're nice ladies that are letting you touch their boobies. And that's how you treat them. Like, no matter what, whether you think they're sluts or whores or whatever.
It's not about think. They are. Go on.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where they are a kind human being that is letting you touch their naughty bits. And if you are not appreciating that, even if you did pay, fuck off.
Yeah, for me,
that's how this works here.
For me, it's not even about like, oh, they're magical women. And I'm like, no, they're strippers. They're they're doing they're most of them are strippers. Like, or what am I trying to?
That's the reason for being here.
My whole thing is like in this moment, you're taking advantage of the transaction.
Yeah,
and you're not being a good fella.
It's almost like we talk about with like people that are shit stirring in the pit. Like a lot of times you're just like, it's one of those things of like, that's not how it works here.
Yeah, that you're not supposed to do that here, man.
Yeah, that's the thing where you're like, yeah, we're all hot dogging, we're all having a great time. We're all excited to see all these naked women. It's amazing. But it's like one of those things of like, you need to learn how to contain yourself, son.
They take advantage of the moment and act nasty. I don't like when dudes are nasty to people in those situations. It's like whenever you see someone being a cunt to a waiter, it's all the same shit.
Yeah. Or people accuse your favorite band, Lost Prophets, of terrible acts.
Yeah, when Lost Prophets get falsely accused of
innocent until proven guilty, my friend.
Sorry, I'm trying to bring up another thing. Well, I guess this next one we could just kind of talk about it in general, but we were texting back and forth about it, and so basically this weekend was Download Festival, which is a big festival every year in England. I don't know enough about it to compare it to anything, but every year I've always seen, I think it's one of those that like if you and me went, like half the bands we'd be pretty excited to see, and then the other half we'd probably be like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those broad festivals where no matter who you are, there's a little bit of something for you.
Yeah.
And apparently the festival was sponsored by I believe it was like the Barclays Center group. So there's Barclays. A group. Yeah, I think we talked I'm sorry, say again.
Barclays Bank.
Oh, Barclays Bank. Okay. And it sounds like you did a little bit more research than me, but I guess that bank like supports Israel or whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of bands were approaching this show and this weekend being like, because of their support of Israel, we are not playing this festival. And a lot of bands dropped out. I think I saw like Jesus Piece dropped out. Say again?
Scowl, Speed.
Yeah. Oh, that's not Jesus Piece. It was Speed.
Yeah.
Speed dropped out. And then, but then I saw a band like Dying Wish. I don't know how many other bands sort of went about this way, but Dying Wish was the main band I saw where they sort of went about it, where they essentially were like, yo, us and a bunch of other bands aren't going to this festival unless you drop this sponsor. And yeah, it was like, so when it comes so they eventually dropped the sponsor, and then a lot of those, I think a bunch of bands still dropped out, but a lot of bands still ended up playing because they dropped the sponsor and yada, yada, yada. And I was texting you about this because it like I had a lot of like conflicting feelings about this because when it comes to like the Israel-Palestine thing, we've talked about it a bunch. We talked about it a little bit on here. Like, obviously, we're not going to get deep into it because it's not No More Heroes. It's Drag the Lane.
I actually have the answer if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Well, you said you don't want to talk about it. We'll just go ahead.
What?
I said you don't want to talk about it, so I had the answer.
No. Okay. I didn't say I didn't want to talk about it. I say we don't really talk about it that much. All right. Thanks for that, Pat. But no, this is more. We don't really talk about it on here because it's more of like a No More Heroes conversation. But the short version of my opinion is essentially like, yes, Israel has the right to defend themselves, but they have a long history of overdoing it. You know, that whole shit where they'll be like, well, we had info that there was a Hamas member in that hospital, and it's like, well, you did a bad job of checking because you blew the whole thing up and killed a bunch of kids and women and yada 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 and this like that. So like my short version is Israel has a long history of doing too much. And would you say yours is similar, Pat?
Yeah, I'd say also that I think there was a lot of fuckery about that was happening to Israelis in general. I think the whole state of Israel is proof that they got fucked with enough that they had to leave Europe and go back to the Middle East, and they were given this land. And I feel like a lot of it is Britain's fault, but that's just me.
Yeah, even that one, the whole like given this land. Yeah. And it's like, you know,
I'm just saying, I really don't think there is as much of a thing, but I think since they've been there and since the heightened state of since the 1950s, like coming out right off of World War II and being almost genocided themselves, I understand why they're so sensitive to being possibly genocided, but I don't think genociding another type of people makes it better. So I think I'm agreeing with you, but I'm also like, it's not like the Palestinian people didn't really go over there and go like, fuck you. And then like Israel goes, fuck you. And they just start smashing them. It's like, it was not completely unprovoked, but I don't think it constitutes a genocide. And I think if anybody should be conscious of a genocide, it should be the most recent people genocided.
Yeah. What you're trying to say is two genocides don't make a right.
There you go. Exactly. That's why you make the merch. That's
new T-shirt for No More Heroes. Two genocides. But even with them being, oh dude, you can get so deep into the Israel-Palestine thing. The only other one, but no, it's so well. That was the other part too. My other sticking point with the Israel-Palestine shit is like, even with the fact that it's like, yeah, they all went over there, and originally they were just having like free exchange of just buying up land and buying up property, and then they had the whole UN thing back then where, you know, Britain was like, we don't want to deal with this UN. What's the decision? And they just said, I think it was like 55% goes to the Jews when they originally only had like maybe 10 or 20.
Yeah.
And then and then they proceed to just kind of like ethnic cleanse and all this other shit. My whole thing is like, just say you stole it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
And we admitted to it. Just say you stole it.
Gave them the blankets. We lied. We killed a bunch of Native Americans. At the time, we were calling them savages, but now, you know, we give them casinos and everything's good.
We stole it, and we admitted to it. Just say you stole it.
And then you give the remaining Palestinians casinos and a couple spots of land that kind of suck. And then you also immediately poison their water supply right after that. And just go, sorry, we're not done yet.
And then you let them complain all the time and you act like it's not annoying.
And you go, what do you want? You have your own fucking land and casinos.
He gave you a couple casinos.
We don't fucking tax you. Okay. So fucking get over it. Okay. Shut up.
Stop being fucking babies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all Israel has to do at this point. It's just like, okay, here's your fucking land. Jesus.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of room for everybody. I'm just saying.
So anyway, that's that I wanted to just set that up. So it's not about the whole it's not like, oh, I'm not annoyed with these bans because I'm like, no, it's not free Palestine. Fuck Palestine. I'm not saying that. I'm not even disagreeing with the opinions. It's more of a thing of just like, I was saying this to I told you on No More Heroes. I was bitching about this on the way to brunch on Sunday. And I was basically saying, I'm just like, it's like this thing of like, when I see these bands, especially in hardcore and shit, and honestly, most genres of music, when I see these bands and they'll be like, free Palestine. You go, yeah. I know.
Sure.
Because that's how you have to feel. And I'm not even saying I disagree with it. I'm just saying, like, you have to feel that way. So, like, you don't even have to say it, buddy. Like, because imagine
it's Palestine. It's a new COVID. It's like the thing where you're like, if you say anything else, then you're the villain. You're evil. But it's also like free Palestine. You're like, sure. How? What?
See,
like
for me,
somebody follow through. What's next?
See, for me, I'm not even. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not even like worried about how. Because it's like there's so many bands and stuff that and different artists and shit like that like, you know, you can give your opinions, but you don't know you don't exactly have the ability to solve the problem. So for me, I'm not even worried, but I get what you're saying is like, but that kind of goes with what I've been saying before, where it's just like, no, this is like what you have to think.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're just hearing a slogan. So like, why are we even worrying about it? Because it is a slogan. Because imagine if a band went on stage and goes, Israel has the right to defend themselves. All the other bands and all the other fucking fans would just pile on them and ruin their whole fucking shit. And like I said before, I'm not even in that camp 100% per se, but it's just the idea that it's like, yeah, we all get what this fucking music thing is. You guys aren't allowed to have certain nuanced opinions. So when I just hear bands constantly going, free Palestine. Oh, like big fucking deal. Like you're just going to get a pat on the back because that's what you have to think. So like, why even fucking say it?
Well, because you have to share. You have to share that. That's the thing is it happened when I think it might have even been during the pandemic and shit like that when they're like, your silence is as equal to violence.
Silence is violence.
Is like that shit where you're like, I feel like there's a thing where like in this case, if you don't actively say free Palestine, you are acting against this. What my little hitch with this is the fact that like all these bands agreed to it. The flyer was made, everything happened. And then I think the thing that feels disingenuous to this, like you said, in the way I spot the disingenuousness of this is the fact that you agreed to do the festival, you did all this stuff, you got there, and then like right before it happens, probably somebody goes, hey, there's this huge sponsor here for Barclays Bank and they're a huge supporter of Israel and you're going to play this. I thought you guys said because they probably shared a post earlier. They shared their feelings earlier saying
because they got on the bandwagon earlier.
They got caught and they got caught. So they preemptively said, we're not doing this festival. Hey, the reason you were booked to do it was because you agreed to do it in the first place. So if you were an activist, you probably would have done your research and never agreed to do this hate-filled concert, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't do your research. So I want to hear you apologize, say you're not going to do the concert, and let me know who on your team you're letting go that let this slip through, because you are so socially conscious that you would never do a show with somebody from. When have you ever heard of Barclays Bank before? I've never heard of Barclays Bank. I've heard of Barclays Center.
Also, Pat, it's really funny a bank sponsoring Israel, but I'm not noticing that. What? Which one's sponsored by a bank?
All the worlds? Is it all the worlds, or is it? No.
Wait, how can you sponsor yourself if you run it? I'm just kidding.
I will say this though: if you were so socially conscious and you didn't just get caught doing this, I feel like you would never have agreed to do the concert in the first place. I don't think you're socially conscious. I think you're socially responsive when even the slightest bit of criticism. This might have been one tweet, one response to the flyer they shared of, really? You're going to do this show even though they basically want to support genocide? And then you went, what? And they said, where's the genocide? And they had to find what band is on here that's evil, what sponsor is here evil, what vendor, what hot dog salesman here is a fucking pro it's probably the kosher guy probably selling Hebrew National back there in the back. That son of a bitch is giving all his proceeds to Israel. It doesn't. Where does it stop? When does the support stop? It's you agreed to do this show. You probably had all of the agreements and all the contracts signed, and you did it, but you instead of when somebody caught you in this fucking trap, it's a fucking I never
no, they caught them just going along with a trend. That's what happened. Is they just it's like when everyone was you remember during like all the Black Lives Matter shit, everyone tweeted out the black box just cuz, and then later that day they were like, "Oh, you're actually making it really hard for protesters to find resources and shit like that." So it's like,
I remember them criticizing the people that were posting the black squares, and you're like, "Wait, I thought you wanted us." What?
But it's like, but the funny thing too is it's like it's retards on both sides. It's people asking for support, getting mad about support, but then it's people who they're just trying to score brownie points, and then they're actually doing more harm.
Right. Like this is the thing. If you look at this point, I still believe this I feel, I feel conflicted like you about like protests, something like that. We're like, yeah, but like getting eyes on the Israel-Palestine thing isn't your thing. You aren't bringing eyes to the Middle East conflicts, you fucking idiots. It's been going on since the 50s. So it's like, it's not like all of a sudden, like now we're like, whoa, wait a minute, Palestine's really bad right now.
Well,
like,
in my guess,
there's an active genocide happening. But what I'm saying is, it's one of those things you're like, you have this thing of like, what you going, Scowl saying Scowl is now officially not playing this festival because of, and it's like, what are you doing besides the gesture? It's just a gesture, and it's just fucking fans. Like it's just
vapid bullshit. And I'm thinking about this too. Well, I got like 2 or 3 thoughts. Like, first off, if we want to play a bad group of people is sponsoring Download Festival, I don't even got to look it up. I am 100% confident you could find a couple other people you could do the same thing about. So that goes back to like Tonye's comment here where he's talking about platitudes, and where we're just like how we're just talking about how you're just kind of going along with trends and that. Now that whole we're boycotting it because of one concert on a huge festival like Download is dumb to me. And then like, if you really care, the better move, in my opinion, is go to Download Festival and like tell everyone what's happening and be like, this sponsor, we think Israel is bad. I saw some rapper put a bunch of names of all these like women and children and shit who died in Palestine, and like you'd be doing more good by going on stage and just doing a whole fucking speech. That starts trending. Yeah, that can be a whole fucking thing. And then the other part of it that irritates me with like just the opinions on the matter is why it is just groupthink, because it's a very binary thing. Like I was saying before, if someone went on stage and was like, we support Israel, they would just get hounded and fucking, dragged out the fucking door. Here's the thing though. You're allowed to support Israel and not be a bad person. It's just, I would prefer it if you supported Israel and said, because it's like, there's a bunch of people who are just Jewish and like Israel because it's like a Jewish homeland and shit like that, but it's like, just, be logical and go, I support Israel, just not how they're going about this. Because here's the fucking thing. Israel got attacked by terrorists on October 7th. They have a right to retaliate.
Also, the only problem before that.
Wait. Oh, yeah. A few times before that. They have the right to retaliate. It's just like we said before, they're retaliating a little too hard.
He's up on the genocide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of genocide.
And also, I don't know if you guys know this.
Yeah.
But if you just blindly support the Palestinians, some of them are Hamas.
Well, Andy
and Hamas.
Andy. I don't know what you're
saying. Am I going too crazy?
You're going crazy right now. Some of them are no, I don't think any of them are. They're all freedom fighters from the river to the sea.
But that's the thing too. It's like, guys, just remember, if you support Palestine blindly, you're also supporting terrorists.
Yeah, or the fact that the people that this is talk to death, but the people that openly support it, and when you're like, so that's the funniest thing is like the people that are like, we're out here and we're here to support like people that support what we believe in. Like we're anti-gay. You can't, or we're anti-homophobe, but you can't be hating on gay people. You can't be hating on Palestine or Hamas. Those people, and it's like those are two conflicting things. You can't have both sides of the coin where you're sitting here saying like, not everybody that you believe in is the best. Also, I feel like there are ways that you could have helped Palestine before it was trending, but you weren't. And it also speaks to me as disingenuous that even before they were Palestine genocide, before that was happening, I feel like there was not necessarily like a call to action to help anybody in the Middle East. So like there was never a situation where it was something that people have been talking about for a long time, what to do, but now just screaming at the top of your lungs.
It's popular now. Yeah,
but now it's popular. And that's the thing. It's like, this is a thing that I will admittedly say I was not familiar with before recently, but I was familiar casually with. Like I knew, I've heard the conflict. I didn't realize how specific it was, but once you actually look at how it was put out there, it's like you said, it's not as easy as like saying you can just completely blindly support one side, because if one side is harboring a terrorist organization that is actively fighting against the people that you hate, and you're not doing anything about it, that's the thing where you're like,
they're both killing babies. One's just killing a few more.
Yeah, one of them is killing them babies that live in better houses. That's all it is. So it's like one of those things of like, both of you are murderous assholes, but just because one of you is better at it, they're the villains. Like they're both murderous assholes that are killing for land that they feel entitled to.
So and here's the thing. Israel's the villains because they have so much video of our senators fucking kids. That's why. No one's talking about that.
Wait, what?
You don't know that?
I thought this wasn't No More Heroes, but I do want to hear about that.
It's never not No More Heroes. That's the secret. It's always No More Heroes. You don't know about the sexual blackmail?
Oh, not with the Jews.
Oh, buddy. They didn't start it, but they perfected it. Yeah, that is a different podcast, though. Let's keep it moving. Damn, we really fucking. That's gonna be a good clip. That'll get us a lot of fans.
Yeah,
that'll make every band we like us.
Really, you think so?
I think so. I'll just try to get that tattoo from the dude in Kubla Khan before he sees that clip.
If you are canceling your tour or festival to help a loved one with their elderly problems, you're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
We like you.
You are. I wanted to. So on No More Heroes, I was talking about getting into playing cards and shit, and I realized, because I was saying a big reason was it was like nostalgic, and it's the last time I remember having happiness in my life. But the other part was. The other part is like it reminded me of like why Bitcoin excited me initially, because you're like looking at the prices and you're like, oh, is this going to be a good investment and shit? So that's the other aspect of like the playing card shit that I kind of got into the concept of like, oh, these could be good investments.
Yeah.
You know, and like, oh, I could be at a card show haggling with some fucking nerdy fuck. And then I started thinking about more things, because I do want to eventually start a vinyl collection, because I like the aesthetic. I like the I don't know. It's like the way you have to consume it. You can't consume vinyl so haphazardly and shit like that. The way you could just, if a new band's new album comes out, you could listen to it, get 2 songs in, and be like, I don't give a shit. Let's keep it moving. But if you like put a record on, you're like, I put it on. I put aside a half hour. Like I should listen to it. You know what I mean? You can't be as haphazard with the vinyl. And I started watching shit. There's a bunch of dudes on YouTube, Pat, who they're like convinced that CDs are gonna make a comeback. And I watched a bunch of shit on it, and I gotta be honest, I'm not convinced. That's like a big conversation right now because vinyl made the comeback and everyone's getting really annoyed. Like I talked about it with Gallows. Like you can have with everything being digital. I don't know why, but I randomly just hopped onto Spotify the one day, and I wanted to listen to their self-titled album, their third album. Just hop onto Spotify. I don't know why. It's just not there anymore. So now, like, unless I go onto their Bandcamp and buy it, I just can't listen to the Gallows album. So because of stuff like that, like when I talked about it before, but there was the great realization a while back that every popular show had a little bit of blackface in it. Yeah. There was like a month where we were just like Scrubs has blackface. Fucking I don't know all the show. Yeah, Sarah Silverman has blackface. And you're like, how many shows did blackface? And they just took those episodes off the streaming services. So now you can't watch full seasons of these shows and stuff. So that's making physical media have a comeback. So that's why a lot of people are looking at it going like, well, if physical media is coming back, I think CDs are going to come back. And I got to be honest, I don't think they are. Because I was watching a bunch of shit about it and I go, this is why I don't think CDs are coming back. Because like the reason vinyl came back is because like CDs and digital aren't able to make the vinyl experience more efficient. And that is the experience of you can't jump around. You have to just sit there and like really enjoy it and consume it. You can't do that with Spotify. You have your phone there. There's too much of a tendency to jump around. Yeah. Your ADD is going to kick in. The benefit of CDs is the portability. You can bring it on. You can go for a walk and listen to a CD. You can play it in your car and do that. And dude, just streaming services just make that 10 times more efficient and 10 times more better. The fucking cases that they're in are really clunky and break all the time. They're not as like they get dirtier easier. They're not as like visually appealing as vinyl and stuff like that. And because I think streaming solved the problem of CDs. I think that's why CDs aren't going to make this immense comeback the way vinyl have. But I'm very curious how you feel about that, Pat.
I feel like they kind of tried to do it with the cassette. I feel like if you're like, I think you lose the ambiance or the ambiance with the CD. You don't necessarily have that as much with that. Whereas with a tape, you get it a little bit more. The more it's worn, the more you're listened to. And I see that they have tried the cassette return recently. I feel like even as late as whenever the Refused reunion was that 2012? So 2012, even like, because they had a thing where like, oh, if you order this, we'll send you a cassette of the newest album, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, and I got it, and I was like, wait, I don't have anything to play this on.
I did that for Run the Jewels.
But also it was more of this is a nostalgic piece that's not practical. A nostalgic piece that is practical that added it's printed on a completely different surface. It's put on, like, you have to switch the side to listen to the rest of it's a whole experience. It is meant to be a home listening experience. Whereas the cassette, but the cassette, I think, adds something. I do like the wear and tear sound on a cassette when I'm listening to something. I like that little bit of like when it goes. So I would argue that I think the cassette would be a more desirable one for me, maybe than the record. I have never necessarily seen much of the or even felt much of it, but I have not experienced it as much as other people. But I have friends that collected vinyl, and to me, it was just always kind of a thing of like, I don't know, CDs. The only thing that they have over vinyl is the fact that they take up. They look a little bit cool when you display them, because you can have all the jewel cases facing out, or you have a nice sick ass CD book. But other than that practicality, you lose the experience, I think, once you start getting to CDs. But it doesn't end with vinyl, I don't think.
Wait, what?
I don't think it ends with vinyl. I think if you were to venture into the cassette,
Bring it back Laserdisc.
No, cassettes. I think cassettes is where it ends. Maybe
I actually think, because I think what a big commodity right now is, I don't know how to even phrase this. I don't even know what the word for this would be, but it's commodity. Yes,
commodity. Yeah.
No, I think because going back to the like talking about trading cards and being excited to get back into that, I think it's like that. I know that for me, I'll be able to like throw on a podcast, open up my trading cards. Okay. Potheads think you're so interesting.
I didn't want to waste any of it.
That's the most drug addict thing I've ever heard you say. But like the thing with like the trading cards, for me, it's like I'm gonna be excited to do that. So I'm not gonna be like checking my phone. I'm not gonna be all up in the. And I think with, cassettes have that appeal. Like, imagine if you're like, oh, I want to go outside, but I don't want to be like distracted by my fucking phone all the time. What if and the cassette's way more poor. Remember how there was never, unless you got those big ass Jinko jeans, which I had a few pairs, like there was never an easy way to carry your CD player. It was always like super awkward. And the cassette, I feel like it fits on your belt loop real easy. Yeah. And I could see if some company like comes back with like a cheap portable cassette player, I could see cassettes making some mild comeback where you're like, oh, I want to go out for a walk, but I don't want to be distracted by my phone every other second, but I still want to listen to a song.
Yeah. Or anything like that. I feel like, they don't skip as well. Tony brings up, but I feel like you have the appeal of the jewel case, like with the CD where you have the little outdoor, you have the little cover art or whatever thing like that for display. But then you also have, I love I had a little fucking case that I used to put all my cassettes in. I had a bunch of cassettes for a while when I was really young, and I had like it almost like the pre CD case, but you just put everything in this thing, so you had it all right there. You just fucking slide through, you go boom, bam, Footloose, put it in, bow, now. I fucking love Footloose. I had that cassette.
How's that song go?
Also, a couple other songs.
Oh, why'd you stop?
I don't know the rest.
Footloose.
I know you got to cut it somehow, but I can't remember how. That was a love of mine. Also, I loved making the mixed tape as well. You don't have that option with a record. You can't necessarily create your own mixed tape record. That's why the cassette is better, Andy. You're a fool for collecting vinyl.
I don't collect vinyl, but I will
Good.
be.
Now you're less of a fool.
Well, no. No, you are. No, you aren't. You are a fool. You're not a fool.
I changed my mind. You actually are.
Well, I will say I could see myself being a, at-home vinyl boy, on-the-go cassette guy. Tony had a really good. Thank you for laughing at that.
That's such an impractical.
What are you talking about? On-the-go cassette boy?
Yeah.
How's that impractical?
No, it's the one downside would be not being able to get to the track you want, but like you would have to start a whole new album.
See, that's the thing. This is where you're wrong and you're flawed. I don't want that. I want to be locked into one experience so I can savor it and not be so ADD and always thinking about what's next. No. Don't worry about what's next. Worry about
what's happening right now.
Exactly. What you're missing, you're not going to be missing it when you're bopping around to your cassette player.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I need to get
Tony had a really good comment a little bit back where he goes, the vinyl is great because the size, the art, the packaging, CD packaging art doesn't compare. Yeah, it like when you get your first vinyl and then you think back to like a dinky CD, it does kind of suck ass compared, because I always just felt like, even if the CD quality was good, it was still like very fragile.
like the CD itself, the casing, it was all very fragile. And I always felt like the booklet they gave you was kind of like shitty and limp dick. What are we doing down there?
There's no booklet in here.
Well, you lost it because you like, I don't like to read, so you threw it out.
We got a cool page.
All right. Well, that one sucks ass. So I
Fuck
guess that applies to all. I guess that applies to all vinyl, retard.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess we're finishing each other's.
Come.
Yeah.
The one vinyl you have sucks ass. So that applies to all of them. Cool,
Yeah,
Pat.
I know that I sucks ass. Right, Andy. You say it again. Piece of shit.
Get over here and I'll suck your
I
cum.
don't fucking like you.
I don't like you.
I love you.
We're very good friends.
I do miss actually enjoying full albums in the streaming age. Well, you can listen to a full album, Tonya.
What?
Hey, I'm gonna give a little advice to all the dragons out there. If you want to listen to a full album, you can do it. just start an album from the beginning and don't stop it.
Yeah, but that goes back to what I've been saying though. It's just so much pressure to get
Every
distracted.
CD came with a booklet. He's lying.
Wait, what?
He said every CD didn't come with a booklet. I said that's bullshit. Unless you're burning them, you fucking piece of shit.
Don't say that to Tonya.
All right, not you, just a general, like a royal piece of shit. The royal piece of shit.
Oh, I wanted to.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't care about that actually.
You gotta pay for Spotify, Tonya. He said the ad stops him. Come on, buddy. You gotta just pay for a service, man.
Yeah, just get married and your wife will pay for it.
Actually, she gets free Spotify through work.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Did you see dude, it all feels like a fucking op, but like, you know how there's the dorks who get super loyal to Apple or Android and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, you're just a cuck for a corporation." That's actually really fucking sick and not gay as hell. People are starting to do it with doing it with Apple Music and Spotify, where dude, it was so fun. Like they were doing the thing that dudes were always doing with the cell phones, where they give you they give you the rundown of all the specs, and you're like, "Hey, stupid, I take pictures and then switch between Twitter and Instagram constantly."
Yeah.
I don't care about the fucking upload speeds and all this other shit. Like, shut the fuck up. And you don't care either. It's just a weird way for you to feel superior and actually have a personality. And people are doing that with fucking Spotify and Apple Music. And you're just like, I don't know, man. This is the one I use.
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
At this point, it really doesn't matter. I looked into, speaking of serious, I looked into like what is the most, like what music app can I pay for that is like going to give me the most bang for my buck? And I was trying to think because Sirius doesn't necessarily have, like, you can't just access albums, they just play songs, so you need like either Apple or Spotify. But legitimately, if you look at them side by side, they're basically the exact same.
Yeah, they always talk about. Well, I saw one dude that was like so down bad that he was comparing Apple and Spotify. He was like, "Look at the display of the album they give you when you click on it." You're like, "Dude, kill yourself." Well, not actually. We're on YouTube. Don't actually do that, but consider it.
Metaphorically, do it.
Yeah. Hypothetically,
but there's a weird thing where like I don't ever if you want to talk about like taking the experience away, Apple or listening to it streaming or anything like that on my phone, it's not, the music doesn't change, the experience of listening to the music doesn't change, but the artwork, like I don't like the thing we were talking about earlier, the CD book or something like that. That's what I would like fuck around with or flip through as I'm listening to the album for the first time, get acquainted with it, look at the cover art. If there's little tidbits or thanks, I would always love the shout outs or the thanks at the end. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Who it's dedicated to, like stuff like that is like interesting. It gives more personality to the band and stuff like that. That is completely lost with streaming. I didn't get that with the Capra album that I bought recently. Like after we talked to Tyler and shit like that. Any of the Norma Jean albums or anything like that I would buy online or anything. Propaganda we talked about earlier. I love the album Victory Lap, but I don't have a physical copy of it that I can like flip through the liner notes. And they actually do put thought into their artwork and shit like that I do appreciate. But and I feel like that is, it's not that you don't get that with the vinyl or something like that, but it's usually like, oh, cool poster included. It's like, I don't want to like sit there and look like this. I like flipping through a little book, you know, hitting a bowl, sitting in a beanbag chair, you know. It's too specific.
I always laughed when you'd get a CD and they'd be like, poster included, and you're like, cool. A poster with 10 crease marks in it
that I'll never put up. Like, yeah,
it's a small poster with 10 creases in it.
I can't wait to frame this. You never even thought about that, framing posters when you were younger, but eventually, you know. But I feel like
calling you out.
What do you say? You don't fight?
You were talking. Yeah, he said you're fucking gay. No, he's saying with the turning through the pages and stuff. He said you literally get that with vinyl.
You don't get that with vinyl. They don't have pages in vinyl.
What are you talking about?
I just showed you. There's no pages in it. You're full of shit, Tony. I got physical evidence. You have no physical evidence. Oh, here we go. You're such a Tony cuck. Open it. Open it. Open it.
Should I open it?
Open it.
I mean, I'm gonna open it to listen to it.
Oh, I thought you were a collector.
Nah, vinyls doesn't have like great resale on it.
Really?
Not like a lot of collectibles.
What about
also, I gotta tell you, for like collectibles, the thing I always hated as a little kid was the idea of getting something and then never using it.
Yeah.
So like if I got into like legitimate if I got into like legitimate card collecting, I'd always buy like 2 of everything.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Because I'm like, it just like, what are we doing? We're just buying this thing to look at it all the time. I might as well just buy fucking Funko Pops then.
If there's no book here, Tony, you have to apologize. If there's no book inside, it's a book.
It is a double disc.
The thing can't be a book. That doesn't count, Tony. It's not a book. That's holding the vinyl. That's not a book. What are you reading? What are you reading? What are you reading? Huh? Nothing. Show me something with pages, baby. That's all I need. Oh, cool. B. Oh, nice. That's cool. Good reading. What else? What's on the other one? Let me guess. A.
You don't know yet.
Could be C or D.
No,
that'd be awesome. If they had side A, B, C, and D, would be fucking cool as shit. I would fucking love that. What's he saying? Colorful picture. Yeah. Reads for dorks. Haha. You gotta apologize. There's no book. Wait. Oh no! Oh no! Wait. Is it a poster or a book? Is it a poster or a book?
It's a book!
God damn it! God damn it. Tony, I want to humbly apologize. And I also want to bring up...
keep it down. I'm trying to read.
It takes a real man to admit when they're wrong. And I want to admit that I'm wrong. And I'm a real man. So it's a booklet. I'll take it. It's a book. It's a booklet. I'll take it.
I've never opened this.
I noticed that. I saw you open it, dickhead. Sorry.
You're a nasty.
You opened it. There's plastic on it. I was just being an obvious jerk. You're not going to read anything from it. Who do they think? Not Keith.
Said thank you, Pat, for being our dumbest, gayest fan.
Thanks, Keith, for fucking breaking up our band. You addicted retard.
They didn't know that was going to happen before they put this out.
They did. That's their fucking shape of punk to come. They knew they were breaking up before that. Oh, that was good.
It's always hard to put it back in.
That's what she said. Especially with the book. Look at that. Soak it in, Tony. You got to win here, buddy.
I can't get the book back in.
Because it's so cumbersome.
Yo, Tony, what was it like to butt fuck Pat?
I got nothing.
I've never been able to butt fuck the host of a podcast I listen to.
The co-host of your podcast? That's great. You fucking asshole. You're supposed to be on my side.
Pat, I've been praying since day one to watch you get butt fucked.
Also, Tony, by the way, bringing up a great point. Why don't you clip that out and put an unboxing Radical fucking 8 years after it came out?
Oh, yeah.
finally opening this one up.
Our reaction videos did so well. I'm sure an unboxing video will do good.
Take it easy. Wow, they love us at every
I'm
time.
a negative person.
That pruny toad fuck and many eyes.
Yeah, it sounds like we're running out of steam, but I did want to mention something to the bros still listening.
Yeah.
I was checking out, I sent you some new content, and I actually, brother, Patrick, are you here? Patrick, make a noise if you're here. He's in the room with us.
Look at me.
Is that Pat?
What content is it that you speak of, my son?
Well, so I like music a lot because I like finding something that I wasn't expecting that's just like my favorite thing. And that's a tall order.
Yes.
That's a tall order.
Tis.
But it happens every so often, and it's like the best feeling ever. Yeah. So I sent you this song today that the level of shock on me was like fucking unreal. The sentence I'm about to say just doesn't even sound like I should be saying it. But the Wonder Years covered Deadbolt by Thrice. And Patrick, did you listen to it? I sent it to you. Did you listen to it?
I did.
Brother, when I put this on, I'm not kidding. I don't want to be dramatic and say I had chills, but like,
wow.
I was driving and I had to focus to not crash the car. I was so excited about this because it wasn't just that the Wonder Years covered just, a song by Thrice before the big album. Like it wasn't just that. I gotta give the Wonder Years props. The way that they bodied this song while still making it sound like their own song was fucking amazing. The way that they played the riffs and made it sound heavy, but still made it sound like a Wonder Years song was fucking great. I never in a million years would have guessed like, oh, it'd be a good cover that the Wonder Years should try? Deadbolt by Thrice, but it was fucking great. How'd you feel about it?
I thought it kind of sounded like a band playing a song that they didn't learn completely. I didn't love it. I thought it reminded me of Weezer's Africa mixed with, like I said, not completely knowing the song. Like it sounded like there was like certain parts like that they were playing that was very similar, like the beginning part where there's that kind of running like this hammer-ons that he's doing, and it was so muted, but I could hear that it was what they were like playing, but it didn't sound very well mixed in my opinion. So like certain parts of it were
how'd you listen to it?
I listened to it in my car.
Okay.
So that's
a prime listening experience.
That's my second favorite. Headphones or car are my preferred.
Versus bathtub.
Yeah. Versus bathtub with the toaster.
Breaking up your van.
But there is a weird thing with so I have a very strong connection to the original Deadbolt, and it sounded so similar to it. It just sounded like a bad cut. Like it sounded like a high school band covering it, where like the parts that I really like, I felt like they could have really dug into. There was one part where it was a very simplistic, I think where they're singing water is poison.
Yeah.
Like that part where it's like very simplistic in the original. I feel like Wonder Years had his vocals at that part were so much more dynamic. There were improvements as far as like vocals, but that's only because Dustin Kensrue was so young at that point. I don't think his clean vocals were as defined as they are now. So I personally, coming from a Thrice, like I am, Thrice is like a top.
You're a big Thrice head.
Yeah, I love Thrice. I really do. And I've been critical of Thrice releases, dude. I don't love everything that they put out. I thought they put out their Live at the House of Blues was a fucking shit album, and they should never have put it out. But like, this is not, I don't like, I'm not saying like they're doing a terrible job. It just didn't sound like I didn't love their take. It wasn't different enough at certain parts. At a lot of the parts, it just kind of sounded like a kind of kind of a phoned in version of it, but like it just kind of it felt like it didn't seem like they wanted it. It felt like they had no connection to the song. As I guess is what my biggest critique can be, is like it didn't feel like they wanted to do it. I don't know.
Let me double check what it was about, because I saw other posts showing that I think this is part of a big compilation.
Oh.
So initially,
so actually,
wait. Well, here, wait. Initially, I thought this was just like the Wonder Years on their own.
Yeah.
So by the sheer fact that, you know, the Wonder Years are doing a Deadbolt cover, they're probably big fans of that. But it might be a part of a bigger thing. I guess for me, I get where you're coming from, because that is a fair criticism for a cover song. And if you're like, it's a fair criticism to say like, okay, it's not different enough from the original. And I kind of see where you're coming from on that. That does shift it slightly for me. For me, growing up, being a huge Wonder Years fan, I fell off for a little bit, but like all in all, I've been a huge Wonder Years fan. So I'm listening to it from a perspective of, oh, they covered that. Like, they got it real well. And that was very exciting to me. And then knowing that the Wonder Years fuck with Thrice like that. And this was the other part that made it an emotional experience. That the album Deadbolt's on is my favorite Thrice album. That was like, that album was in the very early stages of me enjoying riffs and then eventually heavy music.
Yeah.
So it was the fact I saw it and I go, no way. They're covering that song specifically.
Yeah.
So that was what made it extra exciting for me. But I do hear where you're coming from. It's not different. It's not that different from the original.
So my favorite album, or my favorite song off of that album, was To Awake and Avenge the Dead. And Deadbolt, excuse me, was a very close second. Like that was like one of the ones, because that was the hit. That was like the big one, I think, off of that, wasn't it? Or no, it's Deep Enough From Here, I'm driving, or whatever. I don't love that song. I don't. There's not necessarily, but again, so the point I brought up earlier was, and Tonya brought it up in the comments here, but like I think the parts that I loved about this was the more measured and more mature parts that were being shown. So like when an older band covers a younger another older band song, but from their younger catalog, I feel like there's kind of a maturity that's added to it, and it does add to it. And the thing that I really remember how much I fucking popped for when they covered artists their own album. They did Taylor's version of Artist in the Ambulance. They did Thrice version. That
Taylor's version.
That is, I think, what the Wonder Years exposed to me would be. I would love to see Thrice revisit all of their albums. And I've said this before about a lot of other bands. Like, that is a song that I would love to hear them revisit. But the Wonder Years doing it, it just didn't feel like they were connected enough to the original piece of art that it didn't feel like they put a lot into it. And that just might be a judgment of mine, but it just didn't.
Let me add to that, because I was double checking, because after I saw this song come out and I texted you about it later in the day, I saw some band called Point North. They're doing a cover of Unholy Confession by Avenged Sevenfold. And I noticed that here, I'll show you what I'm looking at, what I was looking up while you were talking. I was still listening though. This was the Wonder Years, and then I saw the Unholy Confession and I go, oh, this must be part of something. They have the same fucking cover and shit. I look, I'm here, shout out Brooklyn Vegan. They have a record called Hopelessly Devoted to You. It's a big cover album of all their bands. So there is a chance that they were kind of like maybe this was short notice. Well, I don't know how much time they have, but maybe they were like, okay, would be a cool song to cover Deadbolt. And then, you know, they didn't necessarily put the time in. All in all, I hear what you're saying, and you make a bunch of valid points. All in all, I still had a fucking great time listening to that shit.
But that's the thing, is you have the connection to the Wonder Years. I have the connection to Thrice. I just like the fact that Thrice music got that kind of a reaction out of you, even if it's the Wonder Years that brought it to you. You know what I'm saying? We've had the same connection. We've had the same reaction to the song. But I will say this: the Hopelessly Devoted to You was a compilation. I don't know if it was a series, but I think I have, if I'm remembering correctly, in my closet downstairs, I might have Hopelessly Devoted to You Volume 1 and Volume 2. I don't think that they were cover compilations, but they were compilations from Hopeless Records. So I wonder
this one's a cover album.
Yeah, this one might be like a maybe they're covering bands that were on Hopeless Records.
I think that's what they're doing. This is actually really funny.
Tony got me.
This is actually really funny. There's a band called Sweet Pill that is on this album, on this record too, and they're covering a Wonder Years song. Did you like that band 88 Fingers Louie? Did you say that?
Yeah, I did, and I do have, I think, a couple of their albums.
There's a band on here, Sincere Engineer, which is very good. They're covering the song I Hate Myself.
I love that song. Great song.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look like a lot of Hopeless bands. Yeah, because it's like all time. There's a bunch of bands I don't know though.
Hopeless was a low key a fucking a stunner, motherfucker. I tell you what, I think
yeah, Hopeless always had if I saw Hopeless was like, we're releasing music, it would always be a thing of like, yeah, I'll probably like that.
Yeah, like it's one of those things of like, it wasn't, I wouldn't say necessarily on par with like Epitaph or Fat Records, but not far off. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. Not too far off.
Yeah, because they were always around the time, because there was always like Epitaph sort of took the, like, they shifted from being just punk to, they had a lot of the really good emo bands. Fat Record always had a lot of the punk bands, and then Fueled by Ramen had all those emo bands that kind of like went mainstream. And then Hopeless was always sort of in the mix. I don't remember if they ever had a band that got big besides Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
And I think Every Time I Die, Newfound Glory. I don't know why I did that. I think Newfound Glory is on Hopeless, but I don't think they were on Hopeless during their heyday.
Yeah, probably not. But they still were on there. So Kung Fu Records had some pretty good ones. They had like Blink-182, the Vandals. That might be it.
Yeah. Sorry?
I said that might be it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm looking through. Oh, wait.
Ew.
No, sorry. I'm just looking through who Hopeless has. There's this dude, TX2, who just is like the most, this guy. Have you ever seen his TikToks or is on Instagram where he'll just pop up and he'll be like, I'm a 5'4" man, 10 minute man. And he's always, oh God, he's stuck. He's like the closest to an attempt at an industry plan I've ever seen.
Yeah. The Ataris. That was the other one.
Hell yeah. All right, man. This has been good up.
Hey, it's great up, man.
Good up. Great up.
Yeah, man.
Everything. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good up, everybody.
Terrible ending, but great.
Oh yeah, horrible dismount. I'll be thinking about it all night.
That was awful. That was we really ruined every bit of good grace we earned with all that.
Yeah, man. We don't deserve any of your love, guys, gals, everyone in between.
Tony, enjoy that win. Won't happen again.
It will many times.
Never gonna happen again. That's the first time I've ever been wrong.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you all. Have a good one. Be about it. Oh, we didn't. I'll put a message in the beginning since we're not going to be here for like 2 or 3 weeks.
We're moving.
Yeah, I'll put a message in the beginning about that. So
we'll
see you when we get back.
The next time you see us, we're going to be kissing each other, embracing each other the entire episode.
Be physically in the same room, butt fucking.
Making physical contact with each other.
I have to piss.
Where are you going to go?
In your butt. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We love y'all. Have a good one. Be able to peace.
Goodbye, everyone. But Tony.